What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Tyler, and I want to acknowledge something that a lot of other creators have made videos about, but I have not talked about this whatsoever. So I want to give you guys my 2 cents on this, and this is the one thing that could possibly cause the AMC Moass. That is not directly in my words. Those are the kind of videos that I've been seeing. So I do want to acknowledge this. In the past, we have seen explosive price movements to the upside due to this one catalyst, but there's a lot of other things to consider when we are talking about the broad Moass. So that's what I want to dive into, give you guys my opinions on what I think will happen. Take this with a grain of salt. This is not to get anybody excited or to discourage anyone. I am one guy with one opinion based on this. So ultimately, hear all these different opinions and come to your own conclusions. That is very important. I am not a financial advisor. But with all of that being said, let's get into this video, guys. Hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think this event will do for AMC? By doing all three of those things, you help push this video out to even more apes that would like to hear this information. So let's get into it right now. And this event, we're not going to beat around the bush, is earnings. And let me take you guys back in a little bit of history, because as we do know, history does not always repeat itself, but it usually does rhyme. Back here on March 10th, 2021, we got our earnings that did come out, and we were at about $10 per share, ran all the way up to almost $15 per share. So that was a nice rally right there, about 50%. Back here on May 6th, 2021, we had another earnings report come out, and this didn't cause a huge move right away, but by May 13th, we did start to see our first leg up into this major, gamma squeeze. About 6% of the free float was actually covered during this time. Short interest went from about 20% down to 14% at the lowest end. But you guys already know the history about this rally. But what it caused is institutional investors started to load up on AMC after this earnings call did come out. So that is the history of what has happened. What is most important is the last time this did happen, and this is really what I want to hone in on. This last earnings call came out August 9th. We got great numbers that beat all expectations. We got great signs of innovation and plans for the business. Now, we were only at about $28 per share when this earnings call did come out, but we ran all the way up to about $53 per share in the following month after this earnings call. Literally almost to the day, 1 month later, we were at $53 per share. So this definitely did cause an explosive price action to the upside, almost going up 100%. But is that to say that will happen again? I personally think something along the same lines will happen again. And let me hone in on exactly what I'm talking about. And the first thing I want to point out is the low volume. We have not had low volume like this since we did get the earnings call that did come out back here on May 6th, that ultimately did lead to this major rally. When you see times of low volume, like you guys can see back here in May, times of low volume, and then the volume exponentially picks up, that's where you see the biggest price movements. Right now, we're really in a place of just price discovery with low volume, seeing where the price does go, up or down. We've stayed pretty flat, trending upwards ever so slightly. But what is even more important than this is obviously I think AMC is going to smash earnings. They're going to have great numbers, great plans for innovation for the business. That's not going to be as important as the overall market catalyst that is going to be happening on November 2nd through November 3rd. This is the Fed minutes with Jerome Powell. He's basically expected to announce tapering, but I don't personally think he is going to, just because the jobs report that we did get for the month of September was a huge miss. We missed by 306,000 jobs. So this is likely to hold off tapering until their next meeting on December 14th through the 15th. If that does happen, that is incredibly bullish for the overall markets. That is one day after our earnings report. So if both these events do play out, if AMC smashes earnings, if the Fed does not announce tapering coming on November 2nd through November 3rd, I do think we will see a big rally based off of that right there. Something else to consider as well is going to be the Stock O tracker data, and really what is happening on this November 19th options expiration date, because if we have earnings, coming on November 1st, if a lot of these calls go deep into the money, you're going to see a lot of hedging. Now, it'll take, I mean, we are still over a month away, so we'll have to see how this option chain does actually culminate and how many options do get purchased. But this is a monthly options expiration date, so I do expect we're going to see a lot of activity. Already at 95,000 for out of the money calls, in the money calls at 4,600. What is even more important than all of this, if you're thinking about the Moass in a broad sense, what is the one thing that has kept shorts in their short positions? It is due to the fact they have too much money. They're not going to be forced to cover on their short positions. If AMC does make an explosive move like GameStop, think back to the Robinhood situation. They had to disable the sell button. Basically, what is going to happen at that point, if we do see an explosive move, is the NSCC, all of these different clearing houses, they're going to need to deposit more money, aka the short sellers as well, are going to have to deposit more money into their brokerage accounts to stay in their short positions. If the market is selling off, if the market is substantially lower, that's really where you can see the Moass. These guys, the big shorts, are not going to be forced to cover unless AMC is well in the $500 to multi-$1,000 price range. They have too much money on their books. It simply mathematically doesn't make sense they would have to cover. But like I said, if the markets are substantially down, that's where you can see the greatest likelihood of seeing shorts covering. And where we are at right now does suggest the markets are going to continue to go down. We are almost at our 100-day moving average yet again. If we do sell off through this orange line, which is the 100-day moving average, we are likely to go a lot lower. And this is ultimately a great thing if you're somebody that wants to squeeze. You need the market to go down, because obviously if the margin requirements go up in AMC because it's going crazy and the markets are down, they don't have as much money, they can't deposit money into their accounts or as much as they will need to. That will lead to them covering on their positions. But ultimately, what I think will happen, I don't think this is going to cause the Moass, but I think it'll give us that next leg up to really, establish a nice base. Like we did see back here when AMC was flirting in between about $55 and $70 per share. I think that this event will likely push us back up into that range, looking for that next leg up above that. So hopefully this didn't get your guys' expectations up too much. Historically speaking, we have had great returns if you had bought on earnings or right after earnings, so I do think this won't be any different. We will still see that huge price increase and ultimately make our positions look a lot better than what some positions do currently look like. But when it comes down to it, guys, the only thing that matters is this is going to happen. I've never been more convicted in a stock in my life. It's going to happen. It will take some time. Do you have the patience to ride out through the ups, the downs, until eventually we do get that huge combination into FOMO buyers, day traders, institutions buying the stock, as well as institutions getting squeezed out of their positions and being forced to cover? That is the real question. If you knew you were guaranteed 10,000%, 50,000%, would you sell out of your position, today if you knew that was going to happen in a year or two? Probably not. You'd get insanely rich. That's the way to think about this. If you're not thinking about this in that way, you're probably in this trade for the wrong reasons. You can't expect it's going to happen right away, but earnings, like I said, this could be a big catalyst. I wouldn't expect the Moass to happen, but anything is possible, especially with AMC and the current marketplace and environment that we are in. So hopefully this cleared the air for some of you guys. What I expect to happen, my personal prediction, is something along the same lines as we seen last time around, going up about a 100% gain, say $60 to $70 per share. Very likely in my personal opinion, especially if they just blow earnings out of the water. So that is going to be all for this video. Drop the like on the video, consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know down below in the comment section, what do you guys think about this information? Feel free to provide your bearish case, your bullish case, but if you guys are showing hate and spreading FUD in the comment section, we're just gonna have to hide you from the channel, so you can still comment, but nobody will see your comments, just because the fact of it, you know, if you're not being productive down there, it's not worth having anything negative to say to bash people or, you know, further divide apes. If you don't agree with something, provide your thesis on why you don't agree with it. We will always entertain that conversation, but not the negativity. So keep it positive and respectful if at all possible. But that is going to conclude this video. Like I said, buy and sellers, link down below in the description of this video, as well as the link for Public and the link for Weeble if you guys want to directly support this channel. So that is all. I will see you guys in the next one.